back.
We're back. I'm back, bitches.
We're back again for the first time.
Since the last time. Oh, do, bing, bang. Walla, walla, bing, bang. Do, bing, do, ba, ba.
Ding, dang, walla, walla, bing, bang.
Things have been tough. We've been struggling.
It reached rock bottom.
When Megan said, aren't you paying for dinner? And I said, oh.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
I was seething when she said those words.
Hope you're all doing really well. It sounds like it's heavily edited, but it's not. It's just us going from one thing to the next. Yeah, I hope you've all been doing well since we last spoke.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for all the lovely, our reels have been doing well recently. So thank you for clicking and watching and then going about your day.
And for the lovely feedback. We had, some YouTube comments about, suggesting that we make some reels. For shorter format stuff, and that's been great because we've been having a lot of fun.
We have
doing those and just having fun, basically, not really thinking too much.
I think this past week or so we've been having the most fun making the videos since we started this, so that feels great. Good, and it's nice that the fun is being correlating with the engagement that we're getting. Definitely, so that feels really fun.
Yeah, it's great, and it's I feel as if there's always that there's always a bit of trepidation because when you do things tongue in cheek,
when you're trying to be a bit funny, it can be a bit nerve-wracking because you're not only putting yourself out there, but you're also making yourself a bit vulnerable and being a bit silly and a bit cringy, and it's it's kind of fun because you've got to just lean into it and let go of your ego and just not care. But then also it's nice that people are watching it and being
that's right.
Lol.
Yeah.
And we've had some nice comments and stuff just from people in general recently on the gram and in real life and things.
It's been really nice. It's been really positive to because it's I think you set out, don't you? You set out to be okay, let's keep growing, and we kind of know how it's gonna look, and then you go that's great, and then you start down that path. And then, things start to happen and you go, okay, well, let's explore that route. Yeah. Let's explore this route.
It's good to not put yourself in a box and be like, oh, it's just this. And the fact that we've been doing these more funny tongue-in-cheek videos. Yeah. And then they're doing well. It's well, we want to lean into that. But also, I think we both sort of look at each other and we go nah, that's too much. Or feels like we're just being stupid now, when that's never what we want to do.
Not stupid, maybe it's just, especially with someone like me who's I have a tendency to take jokes to kind of a bit of a not to the limit, to the extreme.
No,
I just mean that
I think we've both got a surreal humour sometimes, but you defo more so than me.
And it's funny because we'll be sat talking and we'll be I'm trying to think of an example maybe where I've been and then we'll talk about an idea. And then I'll usually come up with the embryo of the idea, and then you'll be like, "Oh, that's great," and then we can do this and that because that's quite wholesome and that's quite nice. And then I'll be like, "Yeah," and then maybe you could pretend to shoot me at the end, or and it's what are you talking about?
And
Where did that come from?
And then I'm trying to get better at communicating rather than just shutting down ideas. I'll go, okay, I'm not sure I'm feeling that, but let's go with something like that, But it's good.
Yeah,
it's
we're
really
both
good.
learning to tailor what this content will look like to where we want it to be, and you to be more more open-minded and that's great. That's a great little thing that we're learning about each other and how to communicate with each other. So that's awesome. Yeah.
But so we're here today. This is episode 11, and it's gonna be the first episode of a kind of new series that we're starting. Nothing's changed in a big way, but it's fun to just keep it interesting for us, keep it new for you listeners and stuff, for there to be I think an ongoing theme is a good idea. And
and the first 10 were sort of an introductory course to us.
Get to know us, have a taste of different things and maybe some of our standpoints as a whole and things like that. And it's I'd love to go back and revisit further things that we've spoken about that we have a lot to say about that
you couldn't sum up
sum up in a broad overview of something that we think. But yeah, we thought that we'd sort of start this mini series and kind of maybe go into some like just further in depth topics that maybe we have like hot takes about, and then I don't know, kind of like we were saying like maybe real talk, like
Yeah, because we've had some people message in about saying like, oh, it'd be great to, maybe like, talking about things that are like, like difficult conversations or conversations and topics that aren't as straightforward and that require a bit more thinking and communication about, and that could potentially be like, okay, well, there's a lot to take into account there, but it's worth maybe discussing because of these reasons. So we thought maybe we'd have 10 episodes that were sort of this real talk feature, where it's a real talk and it's about, well, this is quite a serious thing that we want but not to make, we're not going to make it heavy. We'll still be having a laugh and a joke,
like,
but
maybe very like, what's the word, provocative, like divisive things that maybe we're like, okay,
let's try and unpack that.
Let's try and go into what we think, obviously, but then also, I don't know, like have a discussion about something that might be like, oh, there's a lot to say there, but then it's like, oh, this is just our 2 cents on it, sort of thing.
I guess it's useful to do that as well, because the first couple of podcasts that we did were like, again, it's about us and it's about, but it's good to sort of unpack maybe some of the broader things about where we're at, because it's you look at those smaller things like maybe gym, exercise, mental health, nutrition, and then it's like, well, how do you apply that to sort of real life, in a real life context, to real life scenarios and situations and topics that are important to discuss, where it's not just sort of an arbitrary thing of like, well, I lead this lifestyle and like things just sort of pass, I weave in and out of certain things. It's like there's going to be moments where you're going to have to sort of come face to face with something, and maybe. So we thought that could just be a cool. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
that could be
my allergies have been rife recently.
Well, it's been lovely weather.
It has been lovely.
It's been stunning. Oh. Oh, bless you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Ah.
So yeah, so what? And you had an idea for what you thought the first topic should be about.
I had an idea, but I'm also interested if you had something.
Oh my god.
I don't know what.
Going off script.
Well, I mean,
the script.
The script. Where's the script?
Yeah.
The script, the band.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about. I thought maybe a good one that I think there's a lot to talk about there is kind of like a privilege issue. I think that's a good one.
Hey now.
Privilege. And, this whole phenomenon of like checking your privilege and then, being grateful, and then there's like this spectrum of privilege, and oh well, what are you supposed to do if you get handed this? How are you supposed to deal with play with the cards that you're dealt? What do you do?
Play with them or play them?
With how are you supposed to play cards? Or like, how to deal with things when maybe you're seeing things and you're like, oh, like I feel like I'm privileged, and everyone's privileged in a different way. But some people are obviously, it's like everyone's equal, but some are more equal than others. Bit of Orwellian stuff, But that's just what I thought. If you had something that randomly you thought was like a bold topic that you wanted to talk about, we could go into it.
The only things that are coming to mind are super potentially inflammatory topics. So maybe we should stick to the
too inflammatory.
Too inflammatory to the point where it's like we could get into it for hours and be like, let's really try and break.
Interesting.
Let's get to the core of this.
Let's figure it out.
Let's figure it out now. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
I mean, I do. Yeah, I love the idea of the real talk thing of like, well, there's certain things that you have to, but yeah, maybe we should start off kind of. Not that privilege is a vanilla topic.
No, it's definitely not. It can be a bit touchy.
Yeah, I mean, we've got that set, so
you want to go with that?
Yeah, let's try that out.
I always just want to throw it out there, just in case something came to you where you were like, oh, I really want to get this off my chest. I don't know.
You don't think about coming to me in the pre-shoot and.
No, I like getting you on the spot. You're great on the spot. You're very like quick on your feet for improv and stuff. But no, let's just go with my
specifically when it's to do with hot topics to take on. Or we could do something incredibly niche, like what do you think about the gradual closing of pound bakeries across the country?
Bloody hell! Now that's a topic.
Think about it. When was the last time you saw a pound bakery, or have you walked past it? And
is the one in Widnes still open?
I don't know, but the one in Liverpool closed.
It did.
I think there's still one in St John's.
Because there is a pound bakery and then a pound bakery cafe next door in St John's, isn't it? I haven't been in there in a while though.
Yeah.
You know, Dunkin' Donuts is now just Dunkin', because they want to be known for like
other things.
Coffee, because actually so many people go there just for like their coffee. It's
really?
They've got an interesting coffee.
I've never had a Dunkin' coffee.
I've had a Dunkin' iced latte before, and it was very
strong.
Was it good?
Oh, it was strong.
Put it this way, like I was running to the toilet of St John's.
Why?
The second that I had it. Why I was running to the toilet, or why?
Why were you running?
Why did I get a Dunkin' coffee?
Why were you running to the toilet after you had your coffee?
I was having explosive diarrhea.
I don't think that's what our viewers want to hear, Meg. I don't think our viewers want to think of you having explosive diarrhea.
Well, listen, folks, this is real talk. This is when it gets real.
Oh,
okay?
hot take.
We're going to be talking about all sorts of explosive topics, not only diarrhea.
Bang. Guns should be legal. Oh, we should do that. We should do that one. That's one.
Bloody hell, it's debate club over here about that
one.
Well,
let's talk about that. That was something that I briefly mentioned in a previous episode, and you were very, I could feel there was resistance coming off you just from me having a bit of a joke about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should jump into that. Maybe that's more inflammatory.
Maybe we should start doing polls and be like, we've got two topics here, one from you, one from me. Which one do you want to hear more about for the next one?
Then the loser has to do a pole dance
on that pole.
On this big pole that we've. Can you see this?
It's not on camera.
No, there's a big pole.
We've got a big foundation structure pole.
But you have to wear a outfit. We have to go to Smithy's and we have to buy an outfit, and the person has to dress up in that outfit. So it can only be a funny outfit.
I see.
Like like Mario or.
I see. Yeah.
Something. What do you think?
It's quite expensive in there, though, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know how they stay open.
Neither do I.
If
Hen parties and that.
Surely, though, it's like it's prime Liverpool real estate.
Yeah, true.
And it's like, how are you?
Yeah.
How? Surely it's Halloween and New Year's.
Nobody goes in there. Why New Year's?
Because sometimes New Year's parties they have dress up. It's themed. Mm-hmm. They might have like a drop 1920s drop the ball.
Yeah, I was thinking Paddy's Day. I bet people go there for all the Paddy's Day attire.
And then, but then it's like, so for 3 days, do you make your year's rent and pay your people?
They must do.
That's, oh God.
What do you reckon? Do you want to do privilege? Do you want to do?
I don't know. Maybe we should.
Guns be legal? That's a very, very niche one. I don't think a lot of people are interested in that sort of thing. Not in the UK, because guns aren't legal here.
Yeah, but I can see it now. The thumbnail is like guns, and we're doing this.
I wouldn't do that for a thumbnail.
No, you'd do this.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, and then we'd talk about.
I think if we really got down to it, I think you'd be like, yeah, guns are awful.
Sounds like we're already debating, honey. I mean, how about we could split it? You want to do a little splitteroo? You want to 50-50? Could we bring privilege to guns?
Well, it's interesting that you're a man and that I'm a woman, and that I'm like quite firm in thinking that I don't think guns should be legal anywhere.
I agree.
You agree that guns should be illegal everywhere?
Yeah.
So why are you arguing for guns?
I'm not.
Are you on about like real world scenario, like why you'd have a gun?
What I'm on about specifically is that guns should be illegal everywhere. Obviously, like the fact someone's invented a gun, is mental, right? Yeah. Like that's such a weird thing.
Yeah, it's a killing machine.
And it's literally just there to kill. So yeah, guns should be illegal. I mean, not even illegal. They should be like destroyed. Like the army shouldn't even have them. And you get some people. Oh well, there's no guns. How are you going to defend against the invaders?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like guns are a responsive measure. Well, they should only be a responsive measure because we do live in a world that's full of horror.
You want to know what's equally better equally better? You know what's better a better defense strategy than a gun?
Go on.
A tickle. if I can get my hands on somebody before they reach for the gun, then they're not getting that gun. And think of how fun that would be.
Yeah, it's like Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, like why did we immediately jump to this thing of fear and
Yeah.
Paranoia and stuff?
Why has it got to be about
Yeah,
like actually killing
it's
someone?
just human race in a nutshell, isn't it? Though, like, why are we so destructive to ourselves and each other?
Well, hey, maybe that's something we could do. Maybe the topic of this could be a real talk about why are we so destructive, and it's maybe, and then the gun, we can make that a big overarching thing.
Yeah.
And then the gun thing is just like it's just a bit of a segue.
Yeah. What about real talk, like, self-destruction, like
and mass destruction on a
Yeah.
global level?
Yeah.
That's
That's a very prevalent right now with the
Okay.
news and stuff as well, though, the fact that there's wars going on. I mean,
yeah.
that's, I don't know.
Well, the idea of self-destruction and destruction on a bigger scale. I think it's interesting what you said there about, the human nature to be like why are humans, I feel like by nature we're quite self-destructive. I think as humans,
Yeah.
we have more people are willing to sort of self-sabotage than they are to self-build or glorify.
Yeah, that's true.
The idea of like if someone said to you, it's like no, I love myself, like I'm awesome.
That's I feel like the idea of like loving yourself
right.
is such like a buzz word now,
Yeah.
because it was like the idea of someone a while ago being like, oh yeah, I love myself, like that just wasn't a concept in the same way that
Yeah.
avocados weren't a thing like 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean though? Like avocados weren't what they were today. Like you wouldn't find them on a menu.
That's such an interesting point. Or oat milk maybe.
Yeah, people are like, what the fuck are you on about?
Yeah,
Oat milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drink it from its udder. You can't drink an
Yeah.
oat's udder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think what do you think about, do you think you've ever been self-destructive?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah. To some degree, I mean, I'm better at it now, but like I see traits in myself now which still lead to those pathways, but now I'm just really good at noticing what they are.
That's
and being
amazing.
like I'm not doing that. I'm not going down that road.
Yeah.
It's weird because they're subtle things, very subtle. What about you?
Well, let's spend another 5 minutes just unpacking that. Like, what do you think about if you had to pick like 3 areas in which you might have felt self-destructive or self-sabotaging? What do you think about? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you can think of 3, I'm not like saying, oh, I can think of 3. And I'll wait until you can come up with them.
3. Well, I've made a list.
I prepared a little list.
Here's a list. If anyone can tell us what quote that movie's from,
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
We'll send you
a tenner.
Don't say that. It's like, what if 100
shit.
people write in? Oh God,
People
liable.
will just Google it,
God.
won't they?
Oh God.
We won't disclaimer, we won't send you any money.
I think my biggest one as a self-sabotage thing is that I did it when I was a kid, and I do it now. There's probably two things that are like this for me. I think one of them is like my tendency to lean into health anxiety. So something will crop up, and I, for some reason, will fixate on it, even though I am making a great deal not to fixate on it. There's a little part of my brain which is just doing it anyway, and I can't shut it off. And I'll fixate over it. I'll convince myself there's something terribly wrong. I'll often spend weeks trying to, like Chuck from Better Call Saul. I'll read into it. It'll be so nuanced. It won't just be like, it'll be something so specific. I'll worry myself to death because of it, and then because of that, everything falls apart. Sleeping habits. I'll be up later because I'll be worried. There's more adrenaline. I'll be scared to do certain things,
It's like a
exercise.
knock-on effect.
Yeah. But by the way, I think now, although I still have that, now I just like, not to sound all like high and mighty, but like I feel like I've adopted this thing of like, I might feel a certain way. I might feel a bit worried about something. Fuck it. I'm just going to go and do whatever it is I'm supposed to do, regardless of how I feel.
Yeah,
And someone would...
like it overrides.
Yeah, and people would say that's toxic because you're not really looking at how you feel.
Well,
But I'm of the belief where it's like...
if I lean into that,
if I
that's
lean
where
in,
I'll go.
yeah, and I know what I'm like. I know what my nature is.
I get
If I
you.
lean in, whereas I'd much rather spend that time leaning into other great things and focusing on other people, trying to help other people. If I feel like I'm feeling anxious, I'll try and put that attention on someone else, so I'm not
That's
focused on
amazing.
myself.
Yeah.
And you always know, it's like if it's something really serious, your body, you don't and ah. The body doesn't and ah.
That's
It's like
true.
something's up here, and something's not the matter,
Yeah.
and you got to jump on it. So there's that.
You don't have to like keep going if
well,
you want. Yeah.
you should do one now. Yeah.
Yeah. You go. You don't. You
Should
go
we
now.
should we just stop there? Stop it. Stop the tape.
I need to go and think about things.
We're also recording this on reel-to-reel tape. Yeah. What's
what it sounds like. For
A
me,
cow.
Self-destruction, self-sabotage.
Give me one.
Definitely. For sure. This is hard.
Yeah?
This is not because I don't think I have any, but
Is
it's
it
how
hard?
to. It's how to
Is
frame
it complicated?
I think my thing is that I definitely let I don't know if this is technically self-sabotage or self-destruction, but I will set up fake limitations for myself.
I don't know. I honestly thought because
We'll set up fake accounts.
Yeah,
and message people I went to high school with.
what the hell? That'd be so weird. Oh my god.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, so you set up fake limitations on
I
yourself.
set up limitations for myself. Immediately will, like, if there's an idea of something that I could do, I sometimes can lean into I can't do that because of this. That won't work because I can't do that. Or there's no point pursuing that because I know that won't work. And I can sometimes lean into seeing this, like, fake, warped version of myself that is just, like, so, like, I can't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing really there that you can solidly put your mind to that will pay off, sort of thing. So, it's kind of a self-destructive thought process I have. But that's kind of, in saying that, that's exactly how I've kind of managed to deal with it. I just see it as a thought process. Like, it's something that'll make me think about it. I could be doing a task that isn't immediately paying off, that I'm not immediately amazing at, or I'll be running and it'll feel hard and I can feel it, like, starting to creep in, this thing of, like, you can't do this, like, stop trying, sort of thing, because it's pointless.
Yeah.
And then I have to just be like, oh, well, that's not a helpful thought.
Right.
And then kind of be like, that's literally all it is just a thought. And like you said, like, you can lean into it and be like, well, let's unpack why you feel like that, and let's and it's like,
and
well,
then you start looking for, like, a reason, or you start looking for a thing that defies why you're like that, and then
associating it with, like, triggers and then avoiding them, and it's like, nah, I don't want to do that.
And I've found that through doing that in the past, it's the most damaging thing you can do. If you set up those barriers and you say, no, I have that because I have this, or I do this, or that's who I... You're basically giving yourself a pass to say, like, well, look,
that's why I am like that.
I say this because, like, remember, Marie, like, my auntie Marie, she's passed away now, my great auntie, born with spina bifida, loads of problems wrong with her, had, like, water on the brain. She in a wheelchair. She had
severely
disabled. She couldn't walk. She was tiny.
Physically disabled. That thing from Spy Kids 3, and it was like, What was it? It was like intellectually strong, and it was like physically disabled.
she was totally disabled. So the doctors said back in 60 whatever, when she was born, she was going to live till she was 7. Like, that was the peak that she'd get to, and she died at, like, 50 something. 50.
Amazing
50.
Woman.
Amazing woman.
Never complained.
And also, it's like she always had a smile on her face, and she went and volunteered at a disabled centre to help other people. Never set up anything that was like, you can't do that because you're disabled, or you've got this wrong with you, you've got that. She would go and do it 10 times to the point. So it's really, growing up with that, you would see something like that and then be like, you know, whatever my problems are, like, I can walk, I'm all there of mind and body. We've all got anxieties, we all have certain stresses, we all have certain things that are against us. I've got like health
immune to that.
No, and people have certain health conditions, and I've got stuff, you've got stuff, and it's like,
sure.
But so what? You know, it's like
you have
going
to do it in spite of those things,
that, yeah. And
not like putting, you know, people might have something, it's like, oh yeah, sometimes that gets me down, sometimes that gets in the way, but you know, I might let it and I might have a thing, but then it's like, you come back and you like, but you know, you check yourself, and then you like, you keep moving forward in that.
And I never saw Marie self-sabotage, and I never saw Marie,
so true,
I only ever saw Marie talking up about herself. She always used to bum herself up.
Yeah.
She would talk highly of basically everyone in the family she loved. If there was someone that was giving her grief at the centre, or that there was someone that was like, there was a bit of drama, you know, she'd make a joke about it and say like, oh, you know, I'll sort them out.
Run her over with my wheelchair.
Run her over with my wheelchair. And it's like, you know, and she was joking. And
oh yeah, of course.
But it's amazing. I feel like it's just amazing how this will nicely bring me onto my maybe second thing that I do for self-sabotage. You see people that are like, they have all those things that Marie didn't have, and they're given basically the golden ticket, and they have other things that are in place, like maybe they've got financial stability, parents that are good, that are supportive, healthy family life, whatever. And it's like, okay, something crops up, which it always will do in life, that doesn't play up in your favor. You lean into it to such a degree that then you say, well, that's what I am. I'm defining myself by that. These are my walls. And now I can't do these things, and I'm kind of almost like letting that dictate my life a little bit. And it's such a slap in the face, and I find it really difficult to be. I always feel like I'm very understanding to people. I'm always very. I'm not this bastard that walks around and says, well, you've got two legs, you can get up and do. I'm always understanding, but it's the people where you start to offer them help, and you say, well, look, small things, one thing at a time, like and everything you've got a thing for, they've got a reason why.
So true.
I just, every time something like that happens, I picture Marie, or I picture you know, Josh, or I picture people that are in my life that are like, well, that's it. Like,
there was so much stacked against them from the minute they were born.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. They didn't stand a chance compared to what we've got.
So true.
And people still think that they feel the need to lean. And, you know.
I've kind of started to adopt this thing. I was thinking about this at the gym the other day. Of this thing of like, you know, how do you stay like empathetic, but also, or how do you stay non-judgmental and empathetic, but then also be able to, in a sense, be judgmental of someone's character? And
that is
when people
good.
go like, oh, like you're really non-judgmental, and it's like, well, I'm sorry, like every day you judge 100 people without even thinking about it, by everything they say, by something they say, what they're wearing, what they're doing. Like it's like 100 snap judgments a day at least, 100%, or something.
100%.
Or even like you're judging yourself, like, is this the right decision? Should I do this? Like, would that benefit me? And will that help me at some point later on? You know, and I was thinking like, oh, it's so tough, because I do want to be an empathetic person and a kind person, and I'll always listen to someone and be considerate of their feelings before anything else. But then also it's like, well, no, I also am judgmental though, because I've got to look after myself, I've got to look after you. And also 100%. Like you say, you can't give people passes that they don't deserve. And that's when I thought this thing, and I coined this thing in my head at the gym, and it was, I judge the behaviour and not the person. I thought of that as like really good.
That is so
like,
good.
It's not that I'm judging you as, it's like when, you know, we did the don't drink episode, where why we don't drink.
The one that went viral.
The one that we get stick for to this day. Like, it's not like that episode was in any way judging people that drink, even though you did say if you drink you're a mug.
No, there's total judgment on my part.
But it's judging. Like, I'm not judging.
But I'm judging the behaviour. I'm not judging the person.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
So
I'm not judging you as a person, because I don't know what your story is. I don't know what your thing is. But the behaviour that you're asserting right now, or that as a whole you're sort of passing over to me, I have a right to judge that, because that's happening right now.
100%. And it's not. It's like, look, is it your fault that alcohol was made? No. Is it your
No.
fault that the government pushes it
Is it
because
your
they can
fault
get?
that society is so ingrained in the
No.
culture? Absolutely not.
That's not your fault.
Is it your fault that you enjoy it and you enjoy the feeling of having a drink? No.
Is any of that your fault? It's like, no, it's not. But it is your fault when you're educated on the fact that you know that it's a poison and you know that it's a toxin and you know that there is no good that comes from drink. There's nothing beneficial about it. You could make some. We've been over this a million times, but the thought. Try and make an argument for it. Just try and
it's impossible. Nothing that can't be replaced with something else. Like, makes me feel good, and I'm like, crack would probably make you feel good.
Heroin will make you feel good, but it'll kill you, and alcohol will just kill you slowly, and it'll destroy. But anyway, all good. It's like, but then I will judge. I judge then that it's like if you know all that and you have all the facts, and then you go and do it anyway. It's like, well. That's stupid.
That behaviour I can't abide.
It's it's like that whole thing of like, well, hey, I'm gonna let you can't you let everybody do what they want to do and just let everyone live in peace? And it's like, but it doesn't quite work like that.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's very like individualist thinking. When we aren't in an individualist place, we are all in this together. Like,
it's funny, isn't it? It's like, because doing that, like enabling that sort of mentality in little ways. Then where it's like, if I go to the pub or I'm in an environment like that, and someone says, "I'll buy you a drink. You having a drink?" And I go, "No." And then someone says, "What, are you gay?" Which again, like we've talked about before, when someone said that, and everyone laughs at my expense. It's like, well, because of your right to be like, oh, well, don't judge the person, don't judge you've allowed that sort of horrible attitude to fester amongst communities and societies to the point where I'm the anomaly or we're the anomaly, and then we get demonized. We're on the margin where it's like, well, all we're doing is trying to, we're saying it to protect our own health and to try and encourage other people. That's a very big
self-sabotage thing that people that we know have done with drinking or drugs. It's like, it's probably the most accepted form of self-harm in this society. Like, it is self-sabotage, it is self-destructive.
You're so right.
And people will use it as the very last thing that could ever be blamed for their problems. Like, it's so fascinating.
And you try and take it away from people.
Oh, don't dare.
Because
it's that's like
and that's sad. That's very sad because you see how people are so conditioned to it.
Yeah, for shizzle.
I think that brings me on to my next thing, like what you've said there about people and the judgment thing. It's like, I think I have a self-sabotage tendency where I judge myself probably, I know I judge myself more harshly. My name's Harshly. I judge myself more so than anyone else. So the idea of it's like, well, I think it's silly if you drink. I hold myself to that standard and to times 10. And there's a lot of other things that I hold myself accountable for, where it's like, like for looking after myself, looking after you. There's things that I do on a day-to-day basis that I don't want to do, but I do them anyway to try and build a sense of self-respect and discipline. And then if I then go and hang out with people, and this is definitely my problem, this is my bag. If people don't reflect my values and my morals and my sort of where I'm at mentally, I'm totally cool. I'm pleasant with people, and we'll have a laugh and we'll have a joke, and there won't be like, I won't, if people are I'm out and I'm playing a gig and people are drinking around me and they're pleasant, I'm not gonna look at them and be like, you pig.
No way.
I'm not. There's none of that ever. And if they're doing drugs or if they seem a bit lively or whatever it is, they don't have to reflect me in the slightest. But I'm very aware then that going forward, there's gonna be nothing there.
There's no future for us.
Yeah, even with old friends, with new friends, it's like, I know that going forward, there's just not gonna be that connection, because we can't. How can we? Like, our lives and our outlook are so different, and now I'm aware that it's like, that's not totally healthy, because I should have this mindset where it's like, it's better to have a circle of people around me that don't reflect my morals and views, but I'm accepting of them, and I'm like, and I sort of weave in and out of, I weave in and out of their mindsets, their what they like to do, who they are as people, and to an extent I do, and I am like that. But then
like,
I'm not like, that's what I mean. I'm not the guy at the bar.
black
I
cross
don't.
people's
No,
names out of
no.
book or anything,
And
but
I'm not the guy in the bar that is like sat there like this or like not saying
no,
anything to anyone. I'm always like trying to
you're
talk
always
to
asking
people,
people
and
about themselves and stuff.
but I think I always just think on a deeper level. It's like, I'm trying to really like better myself, and I'm trying to
Mm,
build something, and I'm trying to work on myself in ways that are really hard. And then you start getting a feel for people, and you start talking to them, and it's like everything. Some of the things that I'm noticing, subtle things, look like you're self sabotaging, or
mm,
you're not really happy, and I
yeah,
pick up on it, or there's little toxic things that you're doing towards other people, or to yourself, or to me. And then I just sort of, it's like, okay, well, look, we can have this little exchange. And then
yeah,
I remove myself, and that's as far as it goes.
yeah.
But you could make the argument that on a big scale, it's good to have strong pillars in your community and within your
Mm.
social
But
groups.
only you can really decide what that means for you, of who's strong and who's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I wouldn't say that's anything, that's a self destructive thing for you. I think,
Well, it can lead sometimes to the idea of like, if it's like say if I've got a day off and you might
mm,
be busy or something, there's no one in my phone book that I would call and
I
be
know what
like,
you
hey,
mean.
do you want to go and do something? And that's not a
I
potentially,
get you.
that's not to say I'm lonely. I feel as if that I have a very fulfilled life, but the isolation of being like, there's no one there that I'd really feel like, hey, do you want to go for a hike? You want to go work out? Or like, hey, you want to go and get a coffee and a smoothie and catch
Yeah,
up? I don't really have it apart from you. So, and I feel fulfilled by you.
I know what you
But
mean.
someone would say, look, you should probably have some people in your life that
Yeah,
you can do that with.
I
Maybe
know
I've
what you
just never
mean.
really found those people.
I get you. I know what you mean. I think that I'm on a similar thing. Like, I
Hmm.
don't really have like a big social life, really. Like,
Hmm.
there's a few, there's people that I consider friends that I'll see on a semi regular, but more on the side of like not regular, sort of
Hmm.
basis.
Yeah.
Or people that I'll see, people that I chat to who I just know some way or another. Like, either we used to work together, or I see you in this coffee shop, or you work there and I know I go there, or I do markets and we have a chat and stuff. And there's plenty of that I get a lot out of.
Hmm.
But then, yeah, it's kind of like I don't really have anyone, like, apart from you, that's like my go-to person,
Hmm.
or people or anything. And I don't really think I have a problem with people like who have different like lifestyles to me.
Hmm.
But I think I know what you mean. It's kind of a bit like, not that like you're so perfect that you try and hang out with people that do things that you wouldn't do, or display behaviors that you would deem like, not great. And then suddenly it's like, oh, like you're not worthy of my time or anything.
No, it's not that.
But I think I've said this on the pod before, but it's kind of like, when I feel like I want to hang out with people, like I will. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll catch up with people, or I'll arrange to catch up with people, and it'll be really nice.
Hmm.
But then, like, I I would, like, most of the time I do just find so much fulfillment just being with you. And
No, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
like 99% of the time I feel great spending time with you. And some people would be like, oh, well, that's unhealthy, like you can't put so much into this other person. But I think it's fine when it's reciprocated.
Yeah,
Do you know
when
what I mean?
when it's like hanging out with your best mate all the time.
Yeah,
It's like I don't really need to add any
yeah.
people to the mix.
And I think we're both really comfortable doing things on our own,
Oh yeah.
and having our own, we do things on our own all the time. And then, there are times when you'll be like hanging out with someone, or you'll be like meeting up with someone or something, and it'd be the same for me. So, but maybe it's like this disillusion thing of this idea of, you see other people that
Mm.
have like these big friend groups and they have like loads of mates, and you think, oh, like there's something there that maybe that I'm self-sabotaging that, because I'm pushing people away who could bring me that.
Well, I think that's more about that, but I don't, because I'll see, I'll see people on social media, and it's like, big outings, big group things,
Mm,
But it'll be centered around like going out and getting
So
on it and
true,
being in the
so
pub. It's
true.
rare that I don't have a lot of people where it's like, oh, a bunch
Yeah.
of us went on a hike today, and then we went and did like a run, then we did cold plunges, and then we sat and wrote music. I'll be like, wow, that's like, what, who are
Yeah.
these guys? But the funny thing with me is, it's like I feel like I don't get like too bothered about that. There's an irony in the sense that I love the like with music, and particularly with comedy and stuff, and with writing, I love collaborating, and I
You
love it
do.
when
You
when there's
do.
people in the mix, and it's like, hey, like with writing music, or it's like, hey, you bounce off each other, or particularly, I think one of my biggest highs is like when I'm doing comedy and there's someone else there,
Mm.
and you start vibing, and it's like, this is like so funny, or this is, I
Yeah.
really want to get this on, write this down. And that's tough, because it's like I need to find people like that, and
Mm.
I might not necessarily find people like that are like me. They might be a bit different. They
Yeah,
might
that's
be
true. It's like
people.
accepting people,
Yeah,
and maybe even, or like seeing what, not that people are there to serve you, but this whole thing of like, oh, I get a lot of fulfillment of writing comedy with this person, but I wouldn't necessarily hang out with them on like a super social basis, and like that's okay as long as
that's
they're on the
tricky though, isn't
same,
it? That's
as long as
tricky.
they're on the
Like,
same page.
it's like being in a band with people, and it's like, it goes back to that thing of like, you sort of have to be friends before you go like into doing stuff, like especially
I get
creative
you.
things, like the idea of, I've had certain musical situations where it's like the music's tight, the music's great, the people on the other hand, we really don't gel. So,
Yeah,
and it's horrible walking into that environment.
I get
Totally. So that thing
that ruins
that
then
ruins
the
the
music.
music.
I get you.
But that, I understand, that's definitely my thing. Like, I know that it's like, and I feel like I am accepting of that, but then that also goes into like this other thing of like, from as young as like 16, I feel like I've always done this thing where I run at things very intensely, and then I get flustered if other people don't match that level of intensity, like in bands or in any collaborative project. I run at it like it's my life, like my life depends on it, which may be a thing about me, but I do anything how I do that. If I run, I run. If I lift weights, I lift weights.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm making something, I want it to be the best. And then there's that thing where I get flustered if it's like, right, you really just don't.
Yeah.
You're wasting my time. You're wasting your time.
Yeah, which is funny because you're not a perfectionist. I wouldn't describe you as that, but
Yeah.
also, yeah, you do run at things, and yeah, such an interesting one.
So in little ways, I feel like even in those ways, like I still self-sabotage potentially in
get ya.
in little ways.
Well, weren't you on about, like, I saw you put something on your story recently about wanting to do like some comedy stuff, like meeting up with people.
Yeah, I'm still working on that.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's something you could look into a bit deeper and
yeah,
put yourself in the environment, see who's there, and then it's like,
yeah.
oh, this guy or this girl is a bit of a wild card, but
But I love that.
but
But they're so funny.
but they're so funny, and you just vibe so well on a comedy level.
Oh yeah,
But
no,
maybe
totally,
their
yeah.
lifestyle is so far removed from what you enjoy and what
Yeah,
you do.
yeah,
But
yeah.
then it's like, that person might not become, or you never know, that person might become like a really true friend because they care about you, they want the best for you, but you just have different ideas and
Yeah.
like self, like, just set,
No, yeah,
a set
totally.
of self, like, not even morals, because obviously if someone's morally a dick, that you don't want to hang out with them no matter how funny they are.
No, that's
know
a
what
good
I
point. No, I know.
But
No,
yeah.
no, that's totally. And I at the minute I'm just trying to find a place that we could that I had loads of responses for that, but
Oh.
I need to find a place that we could all meet.
Yeah.
We couldn't all meet we couldn't all meet here, so I'm trying to look
Yeah.
into a space,
I get you.
which just might, it's trying to find a space that doesn't
Yeah.
have money.
I know
But,
what you mean, yeah.
But I am.
Would you not just go and meet up at like Bean on that big round table upstairs? Just to like chat and gel ideas, talk about funny things that you all like. And
Yeah, mate. Yeah, but then I feel like there'd be this thing where it's like, okay, should we like, do you want us that of like, should we start doing some role playing? Should we do like
Yeah.
prompts? Should we like
make
should-
it like a table read situation, like writing
In-
improv.
It's like in
I don't
being,
know.
you know, it's like no, I get what you're
I know
saying.
what
It's
you
like, but
mean.
if I wanted to start screaming and shouting for funny, like
Yeah,
I couldn't do that, you
that's
know.
true.
But I totally, yeah,
No,
I do get
I
what
know
you're
what you
saying.
mean though.
I'm sure something I will lock onto something.
Yeah.
But you're not like you, I guess. You know, your community of like, you know, makers and stuff. Like
Yeah, that's true.
everyone seems like lovely, and
Yeah,
again,
I've met so many nice people through making, like literally people that I like meet up with like socially now.
yeah,
And it's nice because we can share so much, relatable
mm,
things of like being like self-employed or semi-self-employed and then doing markets and then
yeah,
making and creative process and stuff. But then also you'll just find people that you just have a laugh with and you just have the same sense of humor
yeah,
and then I don't need to, it's like there'll be differences there, but then it's maybe not so much about looking at the differences and going like, well, we won't get on very well because of these differences. Maybe it's like, oh yeah, but we have these things in common, and the feeling in the gut feels nice when we're hanging out despite our differences.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I totally get
Because
that.
you could meet
Yeah.
someone that's super super similar to you, but you just don't get on. You could meet someone who's like, oh, like, you know, like that guy at the gym who you wanted to go and talk to, who looked
All
dead
right,
cool.
all right. God, there was it was
You
what?
could be listening. You know, you could be like,
Well,
oh,
hold
like
on a minute. I think you didn't. I think you made a point of saying that we looked
I
similar.
said no. I said you look similar to that guy from afar,
Hmm.
and then you said, yeah, I've seen that guy around. He looks really cool. I wanted to like let on or something.
Hmm.
And then he was really close to us
Yeah.
working out, and he had a Carly Rae Jepsen vest on. If you're listening, and you know who you are.
Oh, oh, you talk about embarrassing me on the podcast. Oh.
There's like a 1 in a million chance that he's listening, but
No, that was totally superficial. I just thought we looked kind of similar, and he
yeah,
looked like, and he was dressed kind of like, you know,
cool.
he had a cool
Yeah, I get
outfit on.
you.
So
But
I was like,
like
yeah,
that's
it's
what I mean.
cool.
You could end up that person or someone else that you both like go to the gym. You might both have like strong views on like not drinking and looking after yourself and like being grateful and being disciplined and oh yeah. But there might just be nothing there. You might not find each
Yeah,
other
no,
funny
yeah,
or
yeah, no,
do you
totally,
know what I mean?
totally,
So
yeah.
it's like maybe it's like not so much finding people that I think your gut will tell you when you're hanging out with someone.
I mean, the annoying thing is that I feel as if I know who I know people. I have people in my life that I find so funny, and I find, you know, in pain funny,
Yeah.
and that's another tough thing because it's like, you know, these kind of people, it's like they'll be in a room, the room will light up when they get in the room, and they'll, you know what I'm talking about. And there'll be people where it's like, oh, it's a bit like, oh, and it clicks, and people will come up,
Yeah.
people have come up to me and say, oh, you know, when you guys are together, you're like, I know that's like, that doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh, but I feel that,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, I know who those people are, and like, you know, they're not perfect, I'm not perfect, but sometimes the whole, you know, like where your life takes you and stuff,
So
it doesn't
true.
always
Just
work
lifestyle
out.
differences, yeah.
And that's fine too. And then you just sort of savor the moments where you are together, and it's just natural and normal.
Yeah.
But I know there will be people out there, and I'm excited to start that journey of like, okay, let's
Yeah.
you know.
Sure.
And that's not. I feel like when I started this conversation, I was like, I'm super unaccepting of people's like.
That's what I mean. I think maybe you might think that you're like unaccepting and push people away when they show what you consider flaws, but I think you should cut yourself more slack because I actually think that
thank you, sweetie.
you're very accepting of people.
I am.
You
I'm
are
not.
super
I've definitely
accepting of
painted this
people.
wrong. I don't make.
Yeah,
I don't,
no, not
and I
that
don't
you
push
paint-
people away.
No, you don't.
I walk away because I'm like, okay, like there's only so much of this that's like, you know, but that's what I mean. It's like a lot of the people that we'll meet over the past couple of years, it has been in like uni pubs, because that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
like, and the thing of being in a gym now,
Yeah.
it's unlikely that we'd be in a gym and I'd see some guy who's like, you know, bench pressing whatever, and I'm like, God, he looks cool, like he like, and then I just walk over and say, hello, hey,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
how about a smoothie? Or like, and you know, that would be really funny, you know, or like just, yeah.
I know what you mean.
Although with that said, me and Lewis from Cow, I was with him the other day and we were just talking and stuff, and we're gonna try and go for a gym session
That's cool.
soon. Which and he drinks, and there's nothing there of me being like, oh well he's a drinker and I'm not.
Can't spot you if you're gonna be drinking.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that.
Not drinking at the gym, obviously, but
I can't think of anything more
bring a few
confusing.
Tims.
Just like yeah,
I've seen people vaping at the gym before though.
I know. Isn't that
like,
just
that's
insane?
Just the most. What are you doing? And our gym is like underground as well, so there's not even any like proper ventilation down there.
You do just want to. I remember. Yeah, I've seen. It's no, because that's sometimes I am too judgmental in that respect. I see people sometimes with like Monster, and and it's like I'll see them like crack it open and they'll be on the bike.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
All I'm doing, I'm just pushing the fan base away. It's like it's like, but because
we're never gonna get a Monster sponsorship, basically. Put it that way.
It's just shit anyway. Like, but it's like you want to go. I feel compelled to go over and be like, look, man, like it's awesome that you're here. Yeah. So good that you're here. So proud of you because no one else is gonna do it for you. Yeah. Just give me that. Because you don't need it. Like this is just ruining like what you did. So let's get some water.
I know what you mean, but the way I see it, the way I'd see that, I'd be like, oh, they're at the gym. That's really hard. Like it's really hard to make the decision to get up and go to the gym.
1,000,000%.
That's an impossible. Like it's so hard. It's only took me like a year to get comfortable with it. You know what I mean?
1,000,000%.
But then I'd see like they had a can of Monster, and I'm like, well, I personally wouldn't drink that shit because it's just sugar. But maybe they are just on their own path and on their own journey to the point of getting there too.
You're totally right.
And it's not down to me to tell them that's wrong.
You're totally right. And I totally admire that. And you are way more empathetic, and that is a great trait that they say psychopaths can't they don't feel empathy.
Yeah.
That's a trait of a psychopath.
Yeah, you feel empathy though.
I do feel empathy.
What do you think I was gonna get him in there and intimidate him?
I do feel empathy, and I just.
Of course you do.
That's a totally valid point. It's not right that my mind should look at something like that and be like, "Come on, man! Like, drop the Monster. You don't need Monster." Like it's. You're right. I should be like, "Hey, well, realistically, I shouldn't think anything. I should be focused on me."
Yeah.
But the idea of being like, I should be like, "Hey, he's in here. Brilliant, awesome, great."
Yeah.
I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I've gone from the gym and gone and eaten a burger. If someone looked at that, they'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, that's crazy." This has been a really great podcast because it's been really revealing to me in many ways that I'm a nasty bastard who really needs to get a grip. And
absolutely not. You're not a nasty bastard whatsoever.
You're such a sweet angel, and I'm such a hardened rock.
No, we complement each other very well because you always reinforce this thing to me of like, look, don't make excuses for yourself. Like, push yourself. You're always pushing me. You're always wanting the best for me. You're always making me challenge myself. You're making me face hard parts of myself that I don't want to like come to grips with and stuff. And you're amazing at that. And you bring that to me more than I bring that to you. I'm trying to get better at bringing that to you and stuff and keeping you like doing what you do for me for you. But then maybe I generally have more of a sunny disposition.
You do.
If you say do. And like
you're a bumblebee on a sunflower. That's what I think. That's what when I close my eyes like that.
That's so
what
cute.
I see.
Has the bumblebee like got a little face and a smile?
No, it's just a really sunny day. But then you're in the background, sort of dancing.
I see.
But the focus is on the camera. What do you think of me? Quick, just like when you think of, what do you think of me when you close your eyes? Just go.
For some reason, I just thought of rain on a window.
God, that is just really.
But no, but I think the reason is because I was immediately thinking of a funny contrast to what you just said. No, when I think of you, I think of just, I think of a calm, strong tree that's like really tall and just solid, but beautiful.
Wow.
And just wow.
That's so sweet. Thank you, honey. That's really nice. I really appreciate that. That's it's lovely.
Well, should we round her off there then?
Yeah, that was good.
We hope you've enjoyed this. This wasn't exactly a planned. I mean, none of the episodes are ever like proper planned, but I quite like the way we just naturally started
we
to
just
talk
we
about
just found
this.
we just found that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We just found our feet there.
And I like that we sort of went over a few different topics and,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I really liked that.
I like that too, yeah. Maybe we should do that more in future, because we started off with
Yeah.
privilege, but then we got onto guns.
Yeah.
Then we got onto annihilation, then self-destruction.
Yeah.
And then we reached a nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that more often.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be back next week on Wednesday, and we'll have another hot take / real talk / something.
If anyone wants to send us in some hot cakes while we do a hot take,
Oh, lovely.
wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, hot cakes.
We could just get them ourselves and save you the
Yeah, we
trouble.
could. But we'll probably do a poll with maybe a couple of things that we've got an idea of and get an idea of what people want to hear. I mean, there's plenty of stuff we could be going into. All sorts of random shit.
You weren't actually contemplating trying to list
List
all the topics off there, like.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, thanks very much, and yeah, thanks for being with us for 10 whole weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the next 10 weeks.
Absolutely.
And there's always cool stuff in the pipeline. Like, I feel as if there's
yeah, every
cool
week we've got a new thing that we're like, oh, we need to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just so nice, of being able to do this.
Yeah.
So.
And as always, if there's anything you want to talk to us about, or if there's anything that you want to share with us,
100%.
always feel like you can. You can get us on all the platforms and stuff.
Yeah.
So message in and let us know how you're doing. And 'cause it's always good to talk, and it's always good to, either have that validation of like, oh no, I feel like that, like it's cool, or even being like, whoa, like, you need to.
Yeah, I'm personally offended by this. Like, please just let us know, because any publicity is good publicity.
Well, we're all about having like the conversations, right? Like, we embrace the conversations that are nice and the ones that are difficult.
Yeah.
You got to get it in every episode that you just want publicity and you want sponsors. I don't think an episode's gone by where you say, but we're not sponsored yet, or something like that.
But if you are looking for a small podcast sponsor, please do get in touch.
What would we even offer? Like, what would be like
a shout out?
A shout out at this stage in the game. Some people work years.
1,000 people watched our not last, but episode before that. That could have been 1,000 people who were looking to get into HelloFresh. Not
to mention reels. You know that our reel today on Instagram.
How's it done?
Well, it didn't do as good as some of the others, but on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
The one that I put up today, which was, what was it again? The how to trigger.
Oh yeah, how to trigger wifey.
How to trigger wifey. How do you think it did?
On YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
They've all been getting between. Well, apart from like ones that done. That one in Tesco that did really well.
Well, your one the other day, the one that you put on, the one that did really well, that got like 20,000 plays.
Of me in the condom aisle.
Yeah, how many do you think that got on YouTube?
On YouTube.
Yeah.
1,000.
No.
400.
No.
210.
No.
I don't know where I'm
9.
going here. You joking?
Got 9 views.
It's had 9 views.
But somehow on Instagram it got 22,000.
That's unreal. Wonder what I did wrong on that one.
I have no idea.
9.
Maybe.
That's shocking. We've been getting like hundreds.
Did you only use 2 hashtags?
I only had room for a couple.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the hashtag thing. I don't know. But the one today got like 1.6 thousand.
That's pretty good.
104 likes.
That's really
which
good.
is like better than.
Decent, yeah.
Well, almost as with Instagram and stuff. So, what was my point there?
I don't know, but just a little insight into some of the chats that we're having, guys.
Oh, it was about sponsorship. Yeah, I was just saying that maybe, it might be a while off, but it's great to be thinking about that kind of stuff.
It is, yeah. Like, we're always thinking, we're always aspiring.
Always.
We're always perspiring.
Why wouldn't you want to think that you could get a sponsor?
Yeah.
Why would you think that's not going to happen?
Yeah, so true. And things always happen sooner than you think you're ready for them as well. So
always.
We're always looking.
Like hemorrhoids and piles.
Yes.
They you think that you're going to be 70 when you get them, but you won't be.
You'll be 27.
You'll be 23 and Can't even sit on a couch without being in pain.
Right, let's order an Nando's.
Okay.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Can't wait till next week. Have a great week.
Have
and
a
we'll see you soon.
lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.